Atorlia is made up of two words, TORKOR and ATORLIA. TORKOR means landing stage, or where fishermen land after fishing. And ATORLIA means the fifth. So TORKOR ATORLIA means the fifth landing stage, meaning there is a first landing stage, the second landing stage, the third landing stage, the fourth landing stage, and the fifth landing stage. The landing stages developed as Anlo grew from the west to the east. So the first landing stage is the western part of Anlo. Now Anlo has grown beyond the fifth landing stage, and there is no longer the sixth or the seventh landing stage. It is called the fifth landing stage because it was highly forested, and the name of the forest is Baku Te. Baku is also made up of two words, Gbe and Ku, meaning if you refuse, you will die. Meaning if you refuse to obey the injunctions and the laws of Anlo, you will die. That forest survived until 1953, when there was the Anlo riot on the payment of the poll tax. When the citizens of Anlo refused to pay the poll tax, the district commissioner in Qatar sent escort police, and they brutalized the people of Anlo. And those who were arrested were forced to clear the forest. And the site was used now as a police station and a daba ground for celebrating Obotutu. When the people migrated from Mochi and settled in Anlo, because of the condition at the time, intertribal wars, there was a need to keep the state safe. And so stringent measures were adopted to keep the citizens loyal to the state and refrain from committing crimes. So at the time of Togbin Ndichi, the fifth Awamafi of Anlo State, who reigned around 1568 to 1594, he introduced what we call the Nyikovu. The Nyikovu is a set of talking drums. One is male and the other is female. The male one is found today at Agovon, and the female one is located at Lashibi in Anlo. Initially, when a debtor, somebody who borrowed and could not pay and had to be punished, they will arrest him, send him to Abadada's court, and if he is found guilty, then they will send him to the Bakute, and then they will bury him alive, with only the head jutting out. This was to comply with the injunction given to our ancestors that they should not spill the blood of their own kinsman. So if they want to kill you, they will not kill you that your blood falls on the ground. Rather, they will bury you with only the head jutting. So when you are buried, then the male drum will sound, Mie Dazan, Mie Bozan, We went by night and returned by night. Mie deza, mie boza. Vinese tobe, vinese nobe. Vinese tobe, vinese nobe. That is, the child should listen to the advice of the father. It should listen to the advice of the mother. Vizaglane troko. The recalcitrant son should repent. Then the female one will answer, Bawenye gbenye. Bawenye gbenye. That is, your command is my law. And so when that drum sounds the dead of night, everybody in Anlo knows a recalcitrant child has been buried alive. And then they will be speaking to their sons and daughters to comply with the laws of the land so that they will not end like what happened. So TORKOR ATORLIA became famous because it was the forest where recalcitrant citizens of Anlo were punished. Somebody would think it's very cruel, but it's a long process because it is for the whole of Anlo. If you are staying in any part of Anlo, in Anyako, in Kliko, in Aplau, when you start to misbehave, your parents will call you and advise you. Crimes like adultery, sorcery, stealing, then being in debt, they'll be advising you. If your parents' advice could not change you, they report you to the head of the family. He will call you and advise you. If you continue, then they refer you to the clan's head. After the clan's head, then you will send to the chief. It means you are very stubborn. If you go through all this process, you can't change. And bad evil had great influence on the cohesion and the strength of Anlo because the association was very fragile, that a sin of one person could plunge the whole of Anlo into chaos. So if your son is very bad, you could bring war on the people of Anlo and their neighbors. So parents were even ready to sacrifice their sons to preserve the unity and peace of Anlo. Now there is a well in TORKOR ATORLIA. After burying you alive, they will go and wash their hands. That your blood should be on your own head, not on their head. And you call Holipovudo. It's still there now. If you come to Hopototo, you go to where the school on the right side. The well is still there. And that well is very, very important for the Anlo state because its waters are regarded as very holy and is used for state rituals. If you're having reconciliation rites in Agobon, is that water that is used? If you're going to Hopototo and there's a need for libation, is that water that is used? Any major state festival, is that water that is used to make the libation? The Anglo themselves, they neglect themselves. There are so many things about us and keep to ourselves. So it is not only the Agovon or Vanyepovudo or TORKOR ATORLIA that have been neglected. In truth, that place could have been developed to a major tourist center. Some of us have even drawn diagrams that can preserve that place for people to come and see. But I'm happy to note that this year there is a festival coming on in Anglo, and it was geared towards the rehabilitation of that place. That's a very great idea. And we are praying that that festival is very, very successful. People should donate to the festival because That idea is very noble. That after the festival, much funds will be raised to at least fence the place, put up a billboard, or if anything, rehabilitate the whole place, especially the well. The well could be preserved and its water is bottled, purification water. Many people will like it, so that when you want to bath, you just pour small in it, and it will wash away all your troubles. I'm very confident that a day will come, the face of our youth will be turned towards that area. Now, the forest is gone, and the place of the forest now the Daba ground. We're serving the same purpose for the whole Anlo state, so no problem. But the lagoon side will still be preserved, even though presently some people are using that area for farming. We have to talk to them, buy the area from them, regenerate the forest, and then in the forest, shrines could be erected. We could also have statues of people who were once buried there. And we were told when you are buried, vultures or crows will come and pick your eyes from their socket. It's going to be a crowd puller if it's well developed, and people would like to come and see. And we also have a library attached to it, or a museum attached to it, so that it becomes a tourist center, a major tourist center. Where is the only TORKOR ATORLIA in the whole of Anlo land, the only place called TORKOR ATORLIA. And it has been very popular. It was popular from the book written by Dr. Fiawu, Ferdinand Fiawu, titled TORKOR ATORLIA, or the Fifth Landing Stage. And he described a character whose behavior landed him at TORKOR ATORLIA. Yeah. So TORKOR ATORLIA should be preserved for posterity. It could be developed to such an extent that people can bring their children and show the statues to them that this was the punishment given to people who are behaving like you. But because today we are under secular government, that's what is saving you. But it's not only a physical barrier, it's a spiritual barrier too. And so if you are recalcitrant, spiritually you are dead among the Anlo people. So TORKOR ATORLIA is relevant, even though the punishment will not be as it used to be. Spiritually, you could still have the same. You would die spiritually as an Anlo citizen.
So let's come to this. As now, we are now having wayward children. Children are no more behaving as how it's supposed to be in a family. People are yearning for TORKOR ATORLIA to come back. Do you think this can come back and work and bring Anlo to a stable place?
TORKOR ATORLIA was a result of the situation at that time. It was a time of intertribal wars. It was a time of cohesion, that Anlo wants to be separated from other ethnic groups. But the Ghana we have today is an open society. We have our children, some of them were not born here. They were bred outside with a different culture. But they are still Anglos. So if it's brought, they will not even understand why you are worrying yourself. And then the crimes which were punishable by TORKOR ATORLIA, those crimes were now being tried in the judicial courts, no longer in a chief's court. So, and those courts cannot prescribe TORKOR ATORLIA's punishment. because it's only unique to the Anlo people. And the judicial systems are universal in Anlo, in Ghana. So even if I wish, it will not be feasible. These cocks are troubling us. We'll kill all of them and make janklo before you go. The crimes which were being punished by TORKOR ATORLIA have been removed from the jurisdiction of the chiefs. It was the chief who sentenced you to TORKOR ATORLIA. Now those crimes have been removed and given to secular courts. And this secular cannot prescribe that punishment for you, even though the crime you commit is similar to those crimes which were punishable by going to being killed at TORKOR ATORLIA.
Okay, now let's come to you. Those who are yearning that this to come back, what will you tell those young ones who are yearning for it to come back?
Those who are yearning for it, they are the very people who will go if it's brought back. Because their behaviors these days agree perfectly well with those crimes which merited TORKOR ATORLIA. That is why they are shouting that it should come, because they know they cannot come. Now, in fact, I'm now 81 years. When I send my mind back to my youthful ages, 19, 20, those who sell sugar cane could leave their wares at the gate and live in their house. Anybody who wants to buy would pick a stick and put the money there. If you like try that today, they will steal the sugar cane and the pan and the money. These are the people who are calling for TORKOR ATORLIA. What do they want? Their own behavior. And because of this modernity, they have grown up with other ethnic groups, either in the boarding school, in the secondary, or in the university, who do not understand the moral values of Anlo people. The Anglos are very unique in their observation of morality, because when they arrived here at Agobonu, their elders instituted a covenant between them and God. And they mentioned various crimes that they should not commit. And the people agreed. This was done at Agobonu. So after they have all agreed to obey the injunctions, rams were slaughtered. They dug a hole with herbs which were used as a witness, and they slaughtered the rams from them. And they erect an idol called Toli. If you go to Agobonu today, you find a Toli. There is a pipe in it that when they are making sacrifice to it, they will pour the oil and to go to the herbs. They will pour the alcohol and to go to the herbs. If they kill a ram, the blood will go to the herbs. You only see the idol. You don't know that. You think the idol is that the idol is not, is the herbs that are under. That is why among our people here, if two brothers have sex with one woman, if one is sick and the other goes to visit, it gets alloplay. It's like a hiccup. It will be short of breath. And if two sisters have sex by one man, the two sisters also saw the same thing. It's the same thing if you're struck by lightning in Anlo. There are rituals be performed before your body is removed from the site of the lightning. These things are not done in other parts of Ghana or outside, because it wasn't a covenant between them and God. But the Anlo state has that covenant between the state and God. So there are so many crimes in Anlo here which are not punished by other people, but they are punished by the citizens. So you are very unique people, and Because of that, many people do not understand us. So it is not only Toko Toko have been neglected. There are so many things about Anlo, which are not exposed to the world. And that makes us very, very unique.